Hello everyone, it is me, Gausden, and today I've been browsing the internet, and loads of people have been doing videos on their top 10 horror films, top 25 horror films, best horror films, my favourite horror films, all that type of stuff. So, I thought I might as well do my own list of my own opinions, and if you disagree or agree or recommend a film, because I haven't seen every horror film on the planet, just recommend them down in the comments below, and I'll see your views on them. But without further ado, let's get to the first number 10 on this list. First off, the number 10 list is Demonic Toys. This is one of the first of the top 10 ever horror films I ever watched, and to be honest, I actually enjoy it. To this very day, I think Demonic Toys is a good B movie. It's good animatronics and pretty cheap budget for such a unique story, and to be honest, the antagonist is pretty. He's a demon, but he seems really menacing because it's a little child, that the form he takes, and the deep voice, it just goes very well. But even if it is written by David S. Goyer, it's still one of my favourite horror films to this day. Next on my list is Annabelle Creation. This film, honestly, I went to the cinema and watched it, and I wasn't having very high expectations since that the first one was essentially shit. But this one actually gave me a good surprise. It was well written, the characters were good, the acting was good, and to be honest, it was a pretty good film. So it's on this number 9 list on my spot for making my friend hide behind his own hands, which isn't essentially a bad thing. He just finds dolls disgusting and ugly, which I can't blame him for. But this horror movie had people in the cinema screaming like girls in front of us, people behind us, even bloody people who were about 20 were like shouting their heads off at jump scares, and I was there pissing myself laughing. Like, these girls came in front, like as the film started, and then when the first jump scare came on, which I can't remember what it was, or first jump scare, I can't really remember. But I remember me and Ben were pissing ourselves laughing because they screamed and we didn't get affected, so we were just laughing. And they turned around and they said, "It's not funny," and I just said, "It fucking is." So Annabelle Creation has respectfully got my number 9 list. At my number 8 list, we have got The Shining. The Shining, a good one. We've got The Shining, Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. This is based on a Stephen King book, which most of the characters aren't the same looking on them or the book. I haven't read it, but I know that the film is good. It's well directed and it's well played, good acting, and they sacrificed a lot and upset one of the female cast actors just to get a good performance out of her. To be honest, this film is a good psychological horror, and this has respectfully got number 8 on this list, just for that very reason. Next on my list at number 7 will be Dead Silence. Now, I'm a big sucker for doll movies, any killer dolls or anything, but this is by the same guy who did Saw, I think. I can't even remember his name now. No, I can't remember. But it says the same creator who did Dead Silence, and James Wan, that's it. I just saw it at the back of the title. This has reached number 7 because the fact that the story is well plotted and gone along. It kind of confuses you at first, and then unravels stuff, and then at the end it's got a twist ending that not even my dad really suspected. He knew that one of the people were involved. I'm not going to spoil anything, but he didn't know it was going to be in that very way. So even he agrees that this is a good film. So that's why it's got number 7 on this spot on the list. Number 6 on this list goes for Child's Play 1. Now, Child's Play 2 has got to be my favourite out of the franchise because of the finale and the animatronics. It's all amazing, but it seems too actiony for a horror film. Child's Play 1, on the other hand, is mysterious, it's kind of psychological, and it takes it slow, and for some reason I like the doll's design more in the first one. It seems to just get more human, and there's more features to it than in the second and the third and so on and so forth. So, I thought that was also good, but the mystery between if we thought it was the doll or the child was also very good. And the deaths were kind of got into it, but it started as a mystery, but as soon as Chucky came out with his voice, I think that's when everything started to go violent, catch up, and then we started siding with the mother. And I thought it was well directed and well acted, and the animatronics, again, practical effects, just my favourite, so that's why it's gained number 6 on this list. At number 5, we have got A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original. The other ones were good, as well as the third one, which is my favourite, but again, it was like Child's Play 2. It seemed more of like an action, and some things in it kind of weren't right, but my father is the one who introduced me to the A Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, and the first one, again, Freddy Krueger's menacing. He goes after people, tries to strengthen his power, as is described throughout, why he takes forever to kill them, but he seems more scary and menacing in the original, and to be honest, you can't touch a classic, but as you can tell by the remake, the thing about dreams and stuff was well explained in that one, as well as Freddy being a paedophile, which was sort of explained throughout the series, but not really out there compared to the child killer thing. But yeah, so that's why it's gained a 5th spot on my list. At number 4, we have got Stephen King's It, the remake. Well, not the remake, it's just another adaptation of the book, which is down. I'm actually holding my laptop up, and it's a thick book, but I thought this was extremely well done. Except for the CGI being overused, the story was good, and geez, the acting was just portrayed amazing by the kids in this. And I think Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise worked, and all. He seemed more malevolent and malicious, and he just seemed like a really good character, because like as the beginning played out, there was something not quite right with Pennywise. He seemed too happy and jolly, but then he started getting hungry and more vicious, and then more kind of creepy. But then he just went full out, and throughout the movie he just tours with the kids in the most sadistic way. Like this film, when I was in the cinema, because of how loud it was, the jump scares got to me, and to be honest, the atmosphere that it builds is absolutely amazing, and I'm glad that I have seen this film, because I didn't really think much of it at first, and that's why it has hit that spot on the list. Next on my list, on the number 3 spot, the 3rd place on the top 10 list, is Hellraiser. I love practical effects, and this is full of gore, and of course it's Clive Baker. The original's good, the second one was alright, but then they just kind of got uninteresting. To me, Hellraiser is a complete classic, and the gore is just amazing. Frank, the premise behind it, the Cenobites, and I think Pinhead in this one is just at his best. I don't know if it's because the original, but the way he is portrayed with the voice, he's so menacing. His voice and everything, that line there, "We will tear your soul apart." It's just that's such an iconic scene. It's such an iconic movie. I think this is the reason why I only have the first one, is because I don't want to get the other ones, because the first one, in my opinion, stands on its own, and that's why it is earned number 3. At number 2, we have Alien. In space, no one can hear you scream. This is not my favourite out of the Alien franchise. My favourite is actually Aliens, but it is, again, an action more than a horror. As you can tell by the title, it's time for war. It's a war movie against the aliens. And it's, again, like Child's Play 2, it's dramatic, and, well, I forgot what the other one I said was dramatic, but Alien, when I watched it, some bits scared me, like the one in the tunnels, and then the alien just reached out to the camera and screamed. I thought that the way it's like dog portrayed and how it kills, and the mouth and the second mouth, to be honest, I thought the action was well portrayed, especially that iconic scene with the chestburster. I know people say all the time that's a really iconic scene and it's the best scene, which I can absolutely agree with. My brother did not get into the Alien franchise until I started from the bottom up, and he can now agree that Alien is probably one of the best franchises in horror history, and that's why it's reached 2nd on my list. And also my dad introduced it to me, so that's a big help as well. Thanks, Dad. Number 1, The Thing. 1982, John Carpenter's The Thing. Sorry, I tapped the mic there. Damn. I can say without... This is actually just going to do it to me this far into the actual thing. Who cares? We aren't stopping now. This film, I absolutely love John Carpenter. Especially the effects team who did the creature. As I said, I'm a sucker for practical effects, and this is full of it. And it's not only that. The directing is fantastic, so is the acting, the atmosphere, everything building up to the reveal of what this monster actually is. It is a spectacular film, and I can agree with the prequel that one's good too because it explains a lot. It's good because it reaches into the franchise and explains the backstory that everyone wanted to know what happened to the Norwegian camp. But the thing I have got to say is probably one of the best horror films I've ever seen. Everything in it is absolutely amazing. From the effects to the acting to the sets designs and how they portrayed the characters' personalities and how they acted to one another before actually going up against each other when they're meted with the Thing, and how their own opinions happen and they all collide, and then McCready comes in and takes power and they all turn on him. It's just amazing. I love this film to bits, and again, it's one of my it's one of the films that my dad showed me and he recommended to me. And so far, since I've been alive at 16 years old, this will probably be my all-time favourite film, no matter what. For me, the 80s are the best years for horror films, and I would definitely recommend this film to any horror fan. Even if you're just starting up horror, I'd still recommend this gore-fest film full of effects and all sorts. I could go on all day, but again, that's my review on the top 10 horror movie list. That is it, everyone. Of course, as always, I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe to become a Gausden today, and comment down in the comment section below saying what your favourite horror film is and why. That is it, everyone. Goodbye.